This is the Saturday Morning Update on 630 WMAL.
Saturday Morning Update, 630 WMAL. We're joined by Dena Roudybush, attorney with Compliance Counsel. She hosts the Mortgage Crisis Update every Saturday morning at 5:30. Nice to have you back with us on the Saturday Morning Update.
Always glad to be here.
One thing we've talked a lot about is foreclosures and what to do about foreclosures, but loan modifications can be very important, very strategic. And tell us a little bit about that so that people understand that, while the lender may not want to cooperate or may not be too helpful on it, really you can get some mileage there if you try.
The former is more correct, and it's an understatement. It's almost impossible to deal with the investor. We had approximately 200 clients come through our office last year attempting a loan modification. We've dealt with virtually every single bank, major bank that exists. And I can tell you that the stories with the clients are all similar, if not the same. And a homeowner right now going through a modification process, number one, they don't have any experience to compare this one to. So they don't know if what's happening to them is normal or ordinary, or if theirs is some unusual, extraordinary case. Secondly, most people feel very private about having to go through a loan modification. So they're not going to have friends or family members that they feel comfortable discussing this with. Thirdly, there's no transparency by the banks. You cannot go to their website and where they list the criteria on whether or not you're eligible for a loan modification. They purposely do not tell you. It's funny how to get a loan, everything is dictated and outlined for the whole world to see. But for a loan modification, it's in the dark by design. So here's the homeowner going through the process, and I'll tell you what they can expect. They can expect to be lied to. They can expect to go through the process for a year. They can expect to submit the same documents over and over because the lender will tell them that they did not receive it. They can expect to go through multiple departments. They can expect to be told that they're getting a loan modification only to have that employee resign or be fired, and then they start the process over. They can even expect to get a loan modification in writing, sign it, and return it in the FedEx package provided by them for the investor to refuse to acknowledge ever receiving it and proceed with foreclosure.
So you've seen these things happen?
Absolutely. Absolutely, across the board. That's why I always said I would testify in court, and I've been designated as an expert in mortgage banking before. I would testify in court under oath that banks lie to homeowners.
Okay, so we've identified the problems, but that's why you're here, because you help people. So what do you do for somebody that may have experienced some of these rebuffs by the bank? What do you do for them?
First, you have to see if you're eligible for the one modification that is publicly available under Obama's plan, the HAMP program. Next, you may be going through the process, and if you are, it's not to say that no homeowner gets a loan modification. It's just very difficult, and most clients, or in my experience, most will be declined. But continue through the process if you're able to, especially before reaching the foreclosure process. Because we have, and in the past I have negotiated successful modifications down to 2% for 30 years. Unbelievable.
What's your number?
I want that myself. But there is some hope. It's not that there is zero hope in trying to apply for a modification. I just want homeowners to be aware of what the process is.
So what would that process be if somebody came to you?
All the banks are identical in their requests that they want from the homeowner. You're going to submit your tax returns. You're going to submit pay statements. You're going to submit bank statements, and you're going to complete a financial questionnaire, and that's going to be updated. Most of them want it every 30 days. They're going to request updated statements up until the time that it's assigned to a negotiator. Most of the period is waiting, so if you can just wait it out and spend some time submitting the documents and contacting the lender to ensure that they've received it. That's the process. It's arduous and extensive, but there it is laid out for you. If you do get a modification, you can review it yourself, or you can submit it to an attorney to review. Once you sign the modification, what homeowners should know is it's accepted once received. So you sign it and send it to your lender under traditional case law, it's deemed received, even though they're going to deny ever receiving it. Another thing to look for in the modification is the interest rate that they're offering. I think that some banks offer what is purported to be a modification, which is not consistent with what most banks are offering. It's between 2 and 4%. You can also expect, with little paperwork to be provided, a forbearance agreement, and that is simply, give me 6 months, please, to not pay any mortgage, tack it on to the end of my loan, and I'll resume my payments after that time. That's much easier to get than a long-term modification.
That would likely help a lot of people out. SaveYourHouseLawyer.com is your website. You're at Compliance Counsel. It's Dena Roudybush. Best number you like to be reached on is
703-261-7097.
703-261-7097. We'll look forward to hearing the Mortgage Crisis Update once again this coming Saturday morning at 5:30, just ahead of the Saturday morning update. A lot of great information, very interesting guests. Delegate Bob Marshall on again this morning. You have another colleague of yours, an attorney, coming in next weekend. So great information on the Mortgage Crisis Update at 5:30 every Saturday morning. Thanks, Dena.
Thank you.
7:51 Saturday morning update.